Hey friends, so today we are making bagels. That's right, you've seen the thumbnail. These bagels are soft and chewy. And the most convenient thing about this bagels is you can freeze them. So you can just take them out of the freezer when you need them because I don't eat bagels every day. So this is the perfect recipe. All right, let's get started. First off, in a bowl of your stand mixer, you'll add 4.5 cups of flour. You don't need to use a stand mixer. You can use just a regular size bowl. You'll just have to knead a little bit more. Then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of yeast, and to this we'll add 2 tablespoons of sugar. The full recipe along with the ingredients will be in the description box, so be sure you go check that out. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then you will add 2 teaspoons of salt. So I'm going to just fit my stand mixer with the dough attachment. As I said, if you do not have a stand mixer, you can do this by hand. You'll just stir the ingredients and then knead until you form a dough that's pliable and soft. Add 1 1/2 cups of milk, or you can add unsweetened almond milk for a vegan option. I am using whole milk because that's what I prefer. But right now I just have the stand mixer on stir just to kind of mix that milk in. And in about 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to place this on a medium speed just to start working the dough and to form it into a ball that's soft and pliable. If we haven't met, my name is Jennifer Scott. On this channel, we do all things recipe, kitchen, home, gardening, and more. So be sure you hit subscribe and hit the little bell so that way you won't miss any videos. And just a little tip, when you are kneading your dough, if you notice that you've been kneading for a while and it's still not completely coming together, you can add a tablespoon more of milk. If you need more, that's fine, but be sure that you don't add too much. You don't want this dough to be sticky. You just want it to come together. Now you will need this for about 5 minutes, and you can see how the dough is starting to form and there's some resistance to the dough. This is what you're looking for. You want that little bit of resistance, that spring back, but then you also want it to still be soft. So this needs to knead for about a minute more. And you can even hear it earlier how it had some stickiness still to it. We don't want it to be sticky, we want it to be soft and pliable with a little resistance to it. Not tough, but as I said, soft and pliable, and a nice supple dough like this. When you're done, this is what it'll look like, and this is perfect. It has some spring back to it. It's not tough, but it does need to sit and rest after working the dough. But before we allow it to rest, we're going to place some olive oil on top of this, and I'm just going to rub it in and also flip this over and put it on the bottom as well. And then we'll just place some plastic wrap over this just so the dough doesn't dry out, and we will place it in a warm spot for about an hour. I use my oven for this with the light on. It has been an hour. Our dough has risen in a warm spot. I'm going to punch this down just to deflate this a little bit, and on a floured surface we are going to place our dough, and I'm going to just kind of push down a little bit on the top, not to flatten it, but just to smooth it out so that way I have a smooth surface, because you want to cut this into 6 even pieces. Okay, now it's time to shape our bagels. So continuing on our floured work surface, you don't need to add any more flour than you already have. I'm just going to smooth this out into a rope shape, and you can roll this as well as just kind of stretch it out with your hands. I kind of stretch it out using a circular motion. And then you'll take the two ends and fold it into itself. And then I like to just kind of work my way around the bagel ring just to kind of evenly distribute the dough a little bit. And there you go. And here's with another one, and I'm just like taking it, stretching it out, take the two ends and fold them, and you can see even right here that it didn't stick. So I'm going to have to go back and just kind of work the dough until it folds into itself. Now, if you have a lot of trouble trying to get your two ends to stay together, you can use some water just to kind of make it a little bit more pliable and sticky. But as you can see, it kind of just folds into itself. And these do not have to be perfect. You can see that they're not perfect. And that's what I love about this recipe is it is a quick and easy, just quick bagel recipe. Now, this isn't the kind of bagels that you will essentially kind of boil for a few seconds to get that shine on them and the chewiness. This already has the chewiness in it, which I love this recipe because it's quick, it's easy, it's no fuss. I don't have to stand around. I can make these quickly and I don't have to worry about doing extra things. Even in the morning, if I get up and, I want to make a quick bagel recipe, it gives me time to do other things, make other things, and my family can still have bagels. But a lot of times I do freeze these. I do want to show you guys up close and personal how my two methods of tying the two ends together. So what I like to do is I take the two ends and I will fold it just like this into itself to get it to stay together. So there's this method that I do, and then the next method I do is I just kind of like lay it on almost like Velcro, just kind of lay it on top of one another, just like this, and press the dough together. And you'll be able to feel when the dough, like most of the time, this dough will stick to the itself. So you'll be able to feel when it doesn't. Now I want to add a little bit of a topping to the bagels. I'm going to take some honey and just brush it across the top of the bagel. This is not going to add a lot of sweetness, maybe a touch of sweetness because it does kind of bake off. But this does not add sweetness like that at all. And what this will do is just allow our topping to stick. I am going to use a minced onion, um, just a dried onion. You can use everything bagel seasoning, sesame seasoning, poppy seeds. The possibilities are endless to what you want to put on these. I'm actually out of my everything bagel seasoning and my sesame seeds. Chia seeds would be nice on this as well. You make these comfortable for your home with what your family likes. I really wanted to show you the step process of how to place the topping on these bagels, as well as where in the process you would put a topping on. What I like to do is just take a little bit of flour and dust these. I like the powdery taste that it has once it cooks. You can omit this step or just place it on one or two to see if you like it as well. If not, like I said, you can omit this. And from this step, we are going to allow these to sit uncovered and rise for about 15 minutes. After our first proofing, you're going to put them on a parchment paper on a baking sheet and allow these to proof for another 10 minutes. This is going to puff them up even more. Now is a good time to preheat your oven to 450 degrees, and we will wait for these to proof. And look at how much they have doubled in size in just 10 minutes. This is exactly what we're looking for. Now we are going to place these into our preheated oven at 450 degrees. And these are ready to go into the oven for about 15 minutes or until golden brown. Mine sometimes usually takes about 10 minutes. So what I like to do with the 8-9 minute mark is I will just come in and turn them around and allow them to cook for a couple minutes more. Sometimes it's been 10 minutes, sometimes it's been 15. But once those 15 minutes are done and they are golden, they will come out looking like this. And these are perfect. They are chewy and delicious and golden. And just look at these ones with the topping on it. And then you can see the powder on that. I personally love the powder. But I want to show you guys how big these are. Like, this is a big bagel. It's about as big as my hand. So if you wanted to, you could cut these into maybe 10 to 12 pieces. If you wanted kind of a smaller bagel, these would be perfect to make bagel bites with. Put a little bit of cream cheese on here. You can make bagel sandwiches. I've done all kinds of things with these bagels, and they freeze beautifully. But I just want to cut this in half to show you guys the inside. Look at the crumb in this. You can see that is so soft, and but it still has that little bit of kind of chewy resistance to it, but it's super soft and it stays soft. Usually I freeze these and I will place them in the freezer and bring them out, microwave them for about 30 seconds. Sometimes I need to put them in there for another additional 30 seconds. And these are still so chewy. I can eat these just as is or toast them up. It is completely up to you. And I'm going to take a bite real quick because that is so good. Oh my goodness. Oh, these are so good. I want you guys to make this recipe. Like, I think I'm so excited to share this recipe with you guys because this is like my go-to bagel recipe. It's super simple, super easy. I can make a quick batch of these, freeze them, and then my family can just bring them out as they need them. And I know you guys will enjoy these too. Go ahead and hit thumbs up, and I'll see y'all in the next video.